So question 4, four identical metal plates are there at the same temperature, are laid side by side, and the ray fall from sun falls on these metal plates. One is matte black, one is shiny, another one is matte silver, another one is shiny silver. So which plate show the fastest? The one which is matte black. So the answer for the first one is matte black, because dull and dark surfaces are good absorber of heat radiation as compared to shiny and polished. The apparatus shown in figure 4.1 is known as Leslie differential air thermometer. The heater is switched off and tap T is open. So when tap T is open, like the number of the particles evenly distributed. One side of this Leslie thermometer, differential thermometer, is painted black, another one is shiny. The heater is switched on. So we have to mark where the two level of the liquid will be. So if the heater is switched on, the heater supply heat energy, and dull and dark surfaces are good absorber. As compared to shiny surfaces, they are good reflector. So air which is in a matte black painted matte black bulb, that will expand or that will increase the pressure. So when the air will increase the pressure, this air will push the liquid down. So as it push the liquid down, the level of the liquid on one side will decrease and level of the liquid on the other side will increase. So we have to mark new position. So what happened? One side it will be lower and another side it will be higher. Is it clear, this question? Any doubt in this part? The heater is switched on in the figure 4.1. So we mark clearly. Then explain your answer. So what is the answer for B1? We'll mention the matte black, the glass bulb, which is painted matte black, absorb greater amount of heat energy, and the gas inside the bulb will exert more pressure, which cause the level of the liquid to change. So this is what happened in Leslie differential air thermometer, that one side which is matte black. So it's actually comparing the two temperature. This figure question 5 figure 4.1 shows a cross section of a double walled vacuum glass flask containing a hot liquid. So there's a hot liquid. Explain why the rate of heat thermal energy loss by the flask conduction is very low. So why? Because conduction can occur when there are particles. So if we don't have particle, the conduction cannot occur. So why it is very low? You can mention because of vacuum, no conduction can occur. Or you can also mention because glass is insulator, allow the heat energy to, or does not allow the heat energy to pass through. The second part, why the rate of loss of thermal energy through the walls of the flask by radiation is very low. Because it's a shiny surface, and shiny surfaces are good reflector. So they don't absorb energy, they tend to reflect. So why the rate of loss of energy by radiation is very low, and it's of 3 marks. So we'll mention shiny surfaces which are good reflector, does not absorb heat energy. Suggests with a reason what must be done to a flask to keep a liquid hot. So what is missing in this figure? As you can see, we did not put a cap or a lid. So there must be a cap or a lid which prevent evaporation or reduce the rate of evaporation. So we should place a lid or a cap which reduce transfer of heat energy by convection and cooling down of the liquid, and prevent liquid from cool down by reducing the rate of evaporation, because when the lid is placed, the evaporation or rate of evaporation will be very slow compared to when it is exposed to the surrounding. So one side of a copper is highly polished, another side is painted matte black. A student places her hand equal distance. Why her hand are not heated by convection? Because the hot air will always rise up. So why the convection cannot occur here? Because the hot air or warm air, it always moves up, it does not move sideways. So the hot air rise, it cannot move sideways. That's why the convection cannot occur. Why conduction cannot occur? Why hand cannot be heated by conduction? Because hands are not in contact with the copper. Because for conduction to occur, there must be a contact between the two surfaces. So hands are not in contact, that's why there is no conduction. State and explain which hand gets hotter. So the left hand will get hotter. Why? Because it is placed to a matte black surface, which is a good emitter as compared to shiny or polished surfaces. So which hand get hotter? Left hand, because dull surfaces are good emitter. It is suggested that one side of the copper cools lower than the other. Why this does not happen? Like what they're saying, like one side of the copper is dull black, another one is shiny. So they're saying the side which is dull black should cool down first faster as compared to shiny. But in practical it does not happen. Why? Because copper is a conductor, so the energy is transferred the energy is transferred within the copper. That's why when it cooled down, the whole copper will have the same temperature. So why it does not happen? Why the one side is not cooling down faster than the other? It is suggested that one side should cool down faster than the other. So one side should be hot, other should be cold. But in practical, it does not happen. Why in practical it does not happen? Because the copper is a metal, so it conducts heat energy. That's why the whole metal will have the same temperature. Copper is a metal, conduct heat energy, which does not allow which allow the heat to transfer from one side to another. So it will have same temperature. Then question 7, equal volume of the gas held at a constant pressure, which will expand the most. So gases expand more than liquid and liquid expand more than solid and expand the least solid. Why the pressure of the gas must be kept constant for this comparison? Because the pressure affect the volume of the gas. Because if you increase the pressure, the volume will decrease. Figure 5.1 shows an alcohol thermometer, two properties which make it suitable. Number one, it's having a linear scale. How we identify linear scale? Because equal distance between the markings, it means linear scale. Or expand linearly, you can also mention linear scale or expand linearly. It's the same thing. And the second advantage here, it will remain a liquid for a greater range of temperature. Then two changes which we can make more sensitive. So we should use a large bulb, like we should increase the size of this bulb. The bulb size should increase and we should use a narrow capillary. If you want to make it more sensitive, then the size of the capillary should be small. So large bulb and smaller, thinner, or not smaller, it should be thinner, because smaller will may reduce the range. So thinner capillary will make it more sensitive. Explain what is the advantage of a glass around the bulb of the bulb to be very thin. So it will be quick acting, it will respond quickly. That is the advantage. In question 8, figure 5.1 shows some apparatus used to compare the emission of radiation. Near the center of each infrared, 4 detectors are placed. There is a hot water. Describe how would you use this apparatus. So what we will do, we will place thermometer, same distance from each side. and we'll record change in temperature for same time interval. So we'll place 4 thermometers. One will be placed near the white, painted shiny, painted dull black, shiny white. We place 4 thermometers equal distance and measure the temperature change. Then describe how would you use that we did. Which will be the best emitter here? The best emitter, the one which is painted dull and black. And which one will be the poor emitter? The one which is shiny and white. So worst emitter shiny white, best emitter will be dull black. Equal volume of nitrogen. Nitrogen is a gas, water is a liquid, and copper is a solid. Which one of these will expand more? As we know, gases expand more. So the answer will be nitrogen. Explain your answer in terms of molecular arrangement, because in gas the particles are free to move. Weak attraction, and they're free to move. That's why it expands the most. Figure 5.1 shows a thermometer with a range -10 to 50. What is meant by sensitivity? The term sensitivity means greater expansion for small change in temperature. That is known as sensitivity. And linearity of a thermometer means equal expansion or equal distance between the marking of the thermometer. So same change in length for 1 degree change in temperature. You can also mention that. So change in volume for every 1 degree change in temperature, that is refers to linear scale or linearity. And what is the range here? It can be from -10 to 50. So this was exercise related to thermometer and methods of heat transfer. The next week we'll discuss the heat capacity and specific heat capacity questions and finish off this block. Any question related to the class today?